some fun questions about, I guess, your career and also then the current scene. So first of all, who's the most skilled facer you've ever faced as an amateur or pro?
Wow, the most skilled, that would be a hard one. That would be very, very, very hard because I've been in the ring with so many fighters, from Lennox Lewis to James Toney to Michael Moore to Frankie Lyles to Jeremy Williams. I have fought Francois Botha. I've been in the ring with so many guys throughout my career as an amateur and as a pro. Michael Dynamite Dokes. I mean, man, the thing of it is, everybody has something great to offer. Not everybody, but a lot of people had a lot of great things to offer. And so what I just did was try to use where they were more skilled in certain areas to make myself better in those areas against whatever tactics that they had or whatever openings they were giving me. So it is really hard to say. The thing I can say to you is that my favorite all-time fighter is Julio Cesar Chavez. I always idolize his fighting style because Chavez reminded me, I try to pattern myself after Chavez at times, whereas I try to break boys down by going to the body, and it was very effective for me. He was very good with his left hook. He was great with every punch he threw. So I really patterned myself after him with the mentality of a Marvin Hagler, just that warrior mentality. So, Orlando Candizales, man, bantamweight, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Matter of fact, number 4 pound for pound fighter in the world, all throughout the era of when Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez was on the scene. So, like I say, man, I've really gotten a chance to be around a lot of tremendous fighters, man. Montel Griffin, the first dude to ever beat Roy Jones. He's the one that really helped to develop me in terms of getting my confidence up, because coming from Indiana to California, 18 years old, I was very unsure of myself. And Montel, because we both trained under Jesse Reed every day, he used to push me. He used to really help motivate me and help me to believe in myself. And, so like I say, man, there's so many fighters that I can really speak on. Everybody played a part in my success, if you ask me.
No, well said. And then, in your opinion, who are the top 5 heavyweights ever?
Top 5 heavyweights? Wow. So we always going to start off with Muhammad Ali. The reason why we're going to start out with Muhammad Ali is for several reasons. But one reason I'm going to tell you that a lot of people don't know. Nobody in any sport ever made money until Muhammad Ali. When Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman, that was the first time that anybody had ever made that much money in any sport around the entire world. Every sport around the world now makes millions upon millions of dollars because of Muhammad Ali. So I would definitely give Muhammad Ali the credit because of not just what he stood for in the ring, but what he stood for outside of the ring. So Muhammad Ali definitely being number 1. Number 2, I would definitely say Joe Louis. Joe Louis was a great fighter. I would say I would also like to add gosh, man, what is his name? The fighter Jack Johnson, because he fought at a time when being black and being a fighter didn't go together. And fighting in front of crowds of white people that is like, look, if you win, I'm gonna kill you. This dude was so gangster, he didn't even walk around with security. I mean, this dude, he was truly the person that made it okay for black fighters to become boxers. Joe Louis also, because Joe Louis was the first fighter to fight to win the title after Jack Johnson. He had to sign a contract, give him a percentage of everything he made to Braddock if he won a fight for the rest of his career, and he had to sign papers saying that he wouldn't brag like this black man Jack Johnson did. So I definitely would say Jack Johnson, Joe Louis. I would definitely say Larry Holmes, because Larry Holmes in his day, man, he could have beat anybody. Like if you wanted to see a fight between Mike Tyson and Larry Holmes in his prime, he probably would have. I believe he would have beat Mike Tyson in his prime because he was the man. And then the 4th person I would definitely say is Mike Tyson, most definitely, because Mike Tyson, he is the one that really helped a person like me to realize that through hard work, dedication, sacrifice, that I could be a champion no matter my age, no matter my size. And that's what he did. So those are definitely my top 4. I know you said 5. And if I had to throw 5, man, it would be a 2-way tie. And I would say it would be between Evander Holyfield and Riddick. Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, and Lennox Lewis. But they all offer something great, man. So it would be hard for me to say. But then I'm leaving out lights out James Toney. So again, you can't even give me a top 5 because it's not enough room.
No, well said. Well said. No, it's like phenomenal fighters there for sure. And then I'll ask you a question you're going to hate even more. Who are your top 5 boxers ever?
Oh wow. My top 5 boxers ever. Okay. Julio Cesar Chavez, lights out James Toney, Roy Jones, which is another. I can't even, I mean, like I say, it's Henry Armstrong, Sugar Ray Robinson. There's so many great fighters. It is like me saying to you, listen, I'm just gonna give you 3 of my fingers. I gotta give you all of them. I can't. It's like a tree. We're all connected to the root, man. You know, and my favorite fighters, like I could tell you, I never ever had a pro fight without watching tapes on Julio Cesar Chavez. Every night, no matter what country, no matter what state, I always watch videotapes on Julio Cesar Chavez because he was such an inspiration on his style, the way he broke boys down, the way he was patient, just everything about him, man. Matter of fact, I got to meet him one time, man, and I couldn't even speak. Like I'm looking at this dude with tears in my eyes because it's like I grew up watching this dude and all of the body shots and just the way he worked and just how he didn't do all that talk. Like he was my Marvin Hagler, you know what I mean? So, you know, people say, oh, well, he's a Hispanic fighter. Huh? What difference does that make? Do he got blood in his body? Does his heart beat? Do he got a brain? That's my brother, man. What you can't separate somebody because of their nationality. That's the stupidest thing ever. I can't like the sun because I'm in another country. Like, just dumb. Kill yourself and come back.
Silly. Yeah. Agreed. And what's your views on the current heavyweight scene? How do you see it? So a lot of people, you know, they're saying, oh, well, this is another, you know, great generation, you know, after we had the kind of Lennox Lewis and the Mike Tyson and era, and obviously yourself in there as well, Wladimir Klitschko. There was that, you know, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, all those guys. Do you think this is another, well, is it another great area, and does it have the potential to be?
I think that it is another great era because, as I said, with the Usyk winning the title, you know, like the 2 fighters that everybody in the world thought was going to be the biggest names are now at the bottom of the list. That was Anthony Joshua. That was Deontay Wilder. Yeah. Now here comes Tyson Fury, who I even say he made me eat my words. I didn't think that I did not think that Tyson Fury was as good as he was. Like he fooled me. And if you ever saw any interviews before, I'd be like, nah, man, Tyson Fury, he couldn't even beat, he couldn't knock out USS Cunningham, Steve Cunningham, you know, at cruiserweight. And so I just didn't give him the credit. When he beat Vladimir, I was like, oh, he beat an old Vladimir. But, you know, to beat a guy like Deontay Wilder, and then, you know, just the way he carries himself, man, he bounces on his toes, and for a 6'9" guy to bounce on his toes, man, that is tremendous. I don't care who you are. And so I have the utmost respect for Tyson Fury now. He earned it. And to just say what a division is, man, with a guy like Usyk, you got Fury, you know, Deontay Wilder, you know, there's so many fighters, the one Mexican fighter,
Andy Ruiz Jr. Yeah.
Yes, man. I mean, so now he's actually in shape and his body looks the part. This is going to be very interesting, man. I think I can say it's safe to say that Tyson Fury would beat a Usyk because Tyson Fury is smart enough to do what he should do, which is use his weight, use his size to beat a guy like Usyk, unlike Joshua thought that he was going to go out and use his skill against a smaller skill fighter, which didn't make no sense. And so if he stopped playing checkers and start playing chess, then start using his size and his brute strength over smaller guys, he'll be able to get his title back. And I think that's the only way he's going to win. He can't go out there trying to use his skill. His skill is not enough because a guy that's smaller has, it's like a B-52 bomber with all the missiles and bombs on it, trying to go head up with a F-16 fighter that just has the machine guns. And that's what Usyk is. He's the F-16 fighter that can maneuver, put himself in position. Whereas, like I said, Anthony Joshua was the big B-52 bomber with these big old bombs. If he changed up his tactic and make this a hard fight, make this an ugly fight, grab that dude, don't let him use his skill set. Take that away from him. Sacrifice your pawns. Move your bishops, move your knights, move your queens, get yourself in position to checkmate this dude. He could have won that fight, but he lost. He lost because he didn't play the game. It ain't enough to know how your pieces work on a board. You got to know the strategy. And you don't fight everybody the same way because you got a good jab, you got a good uppercut, you're strong and in shape, where everybody can do that. But it's what you know outside of just in the ring is what you bring inside the ring, that skill, that planning, that tactic, and having a plan B. He didn't even have a plan B. So he fought the stupidest fight that you could fight to be Anthony Joshua. He should have walked away with that victory. And it ain't to slight a guy like Usyk whatsoever, because that would be slight myself. But he fought Anthony Joshua like Anthony Joshua was a big man. But Anthony Joshua fought Usyk like he was a skilled man. You don't fight skill with skill. He should have been using his will. He should have been using his size to dominate, to wear him down, make him tired, hold on until the ref push him off of him while he wearing his legs down. Fight a smart fight as a big man. Use what God gave you, because if I was your size, I would have did the same thing against anybody, So he had all the gifts, but he didn't use them. So that's why I say he left money on the table because he didn't maximize his full potential, which is using his size, whereas Tyson Fury used his size. And I just think that the heavyweight division is going to go to the one who knows how to play chess, who plays the best chess game. And right now, it looks like Tyson Fury, and I think that anybody can come. I think that all these fighters have a chance to be a champion, but you got to make the right moves, man, because everybody's going to be in shape. Everybody's going to know how to fight a little bit, but it's what you know that is going to take you a little bit further in this game to make you the overall champion. We're all champions, but is what you can possess that will make you be able to raise your hand, which is what Tyson Fury has been able to show out of all the other fighters. He's the best chess player in the game today.
Well said. For Anthony Joshua, it looks like he's going shopping for trainers. It looks like he might split with his current trainer.
He should.
Yeah. What training do you think he should go with to improve his game and be Usyk and just improve as a fighter?
Lamon Brewster. Because I've been fighting as long as most trainers been in the game of boxing. I know what it is to be a champion. I know what it is to win. I know what it is to lose. I know every single style from boxing to being aggressive, every defense, the shell position. I know how to go forward, go back, in order to take a knee. I know everything there is about boxing. I've studied martial arts my whole life. Boxing is a form of martial arts, and I'm very detailed about positioning, foot positioning. I'm very detailed about turning your hips, tucking your shoulders. Your offense is your defense is your offense. So I wouldn't dare claim any other fighter other than Lamon Brewster in terms of training, because with the type of mindset, he's a young lion, but only a lion can teach another lion how to be a lion. See, these trainers he got, they ain't never won no titles. You can't watch another man and then think that you can always successfully be able to get into his head. I know how to get into his head because I've been there. I know everything he's felt. I know he's felt embarrassment. He's felt pain. He's felt victory. I felt all that. So who better than somebody that knows every single style of boxing? And that's what I do to break down styles. I'm a chess player. So I say Lamon Brewster.
Great pitch, great pitch. I'll send it. I'll send this over to AJ. You probably won't reply, but who knows? Who knows? No, really well said. And then just the last couple of questions. Here in the UK, we've got quite a few fighters. Obviously, not just Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. We've got people like Dillian White coming through, and Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. What do you think of those guys coming from the UK? In the US, are you looking over at the UK thinking all these guys have got some good fighters, or is it? Well, actually, we've still got the superior fighters over here.
No, man. And you know what? I never claimed that. I never claimed that, except for in the '80s when you had better, superior trainers. See, the problem with boxing today is not the fighter himself. The problem today is the trainers. All the old great trainers have died out. Eddie Futches and all those guys, that Bill Slayton, Angelo Dundee. So what you got today are guys that took the theory, but not the philosophies of these old trainers, and they're trying to apply them to these fighters. But these fighters today are bigger and stronger. So it takes an overstanding to be able to really get these guys in a position to really be champions, not based upon old morals and values. You stick to those morals and values, but these guys today, they come from a different mindset because they was raised differently. So today we lack in boxing the true skill because of the trainers. And I think that any fighter, whether he's in the UK, whether he's in America, Africa, Asia, it doesn't matter. I think it comes down to the trainer. It comes down to the mindset. It comes down to the fighters willing to sacrifice, to dedicate itself to be that world champion, because that's what it's going to take. It is no more, let me run 3 miles and hit the bag and get some good sparring and be a champion. No, you got super athletes that, like these guys today, are so much more superior from all the foods that our parents ate that have more nutrients than even then. So with all of the things that fighters are doing to make themselves super athletes today requires a little bit more. But I can assure you, you can't tell a man to go somewhere where you ain't never been. And a lot of these guys, unfortunately, they never won titles. They never understood, or shall I say overstood, because under ain't been enough. They never understood what it takes to be a champion unless you was a champion. You know what I mean? It's like how can you tell somebody to go to the top of a mountain you never been to? Just because you can see it with your eyes don't mean you can get there to the top. Now you're going to tell somebody how to get there by pointing fingers? It ain't going to work. Because if you don't know what his lungs feel like in the 5th round, if you don't know what it feels like to have to get up off the canvas, if you don't know what it feels like when your jab ain't working, or if your defense ain't working, if he's outmaneuvering you, then how you going to tell a fighter how to win?
No, very interesting. It makes sense as well, for sure. Dillian White and Joe Joyce, I don't know how much you've seen of them. Do you think they can become world champions?
I think Dillian White is not a smart fighter. Excuse me. I don't mean to say he's not a smart fighter. I don't know how smart he is, but he brings a lot of ruggedness to boxing. I think he's good for boxing. Now, I'm just going to speak personally. I don't know him. He's probably a great guy, but I don't see him as a top world champion. I see him, and not to say he won't win a title, but I don't see him as a reigning world champion. I don't think he fights smart. I think he depends on his muscle. And as Muhammad Ali said, heavyweights are like dinosaurs. They depend on their muscles and not their brains, because I think that though he has a good skill set, I don't think that he uses his mindset to play chess. I don't think he truly evaluates and break down his opponents. He tries to beat them with his physical strength and not with his mind. because if you use your physical strength along with your mind and spirit, that's a scary combination. And so that's what I think he brings to the table. I don't see him as a reigning champ. As a matter of fact, I hope he will become a reigning champ one day.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. But I like to see him make smarter moves inside the ring. I would like to see all these guys be successful at boxing if they put in that work. But it's not enough to just train hard. You got to have a good team that can help you to maximize your full potential.
Yeah. What about Joe Joyce? He's Olympic silver medalist. He's quite a bit older, but he seems to be a bit more, I guess, well schooled in the amateurs. But a lot of people say that he's quite slow. But what do you think?
I've only seen him fight one time,
Yeah.
and I would need to see a little bit more on him before I could give you my true breakdown on him. But the one time I saw, I wasn't too impressed. I mean, for this era, for this time, he's good. But if he'd have fought in my era or even before, I don't think he would have made it. But hey, what do I know, man? I'm just one person with an opinion. My opinion don't mean nothing. Everybody's entitled to it, and I don't wish bad on him. I wish him much success, but I would need to see a little more fights on him before I could say that about him. Just like with Tyson Fury, as I recanted any of my statements against him, I didn't give him the credit that he deserved, but he didn't show me anything until now, and now he got my full support.
With Tyson Fury, a lot of people are saying he's, after the Deontay Wilder trilogy fight, they're saying, oh, he's a great now. We can actually compare him to some of the all-time greats like Muhammad Ali, etc. And he's the greatest of this era. But then other people are, coming back and saying, well, hold on, he hasn't fought everyone yet. He's fought Deontay Wilder, fought Klitschko, but he hasn't fought, Anthony Joshua. He hasn't fought Usyk. Hasn't fought, for example, even Dylan White. Do you think he needs to fight all those fighters first to say, well, actually, I'm the greatest of this era, and then say, actually, I am one of the greats?
Yes, absolutely. Because, each one of those fighters are going to have something different that they're going to bring to the table. And we've only seen him fight people that he's really been able to capitalize on, like any fighter. But when he's beaten Anthony Joshua and these other fighters out there, then he can say he's the best. It's too soon to say that. I mean, he fought a Deontay Wilder who, he fought Deontay Wilder. He has not fought enough fighters that everybody says was a really good fighter to be able to say, oh yeah, he's the best of this era. He's the best of all times. It's way too premature, and it's okay. If you want to feel that way, you're supposed to feel that way about yourself, and your fans are supposed to feel that way about you. But in the masses in general, you can't say you're the best until you beat the top fighters in your era.
Yeah, agreed. And lastly, then, what would you say is your top 5 heavyweights currently? Then,
top 5 heavyweights currently, off the top of my head, I would just say, without giving real thought, Anthony Joshua. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, Anthony Joshua is one. I still think that there's potential for him if he seeks another trainer and
right?
Well, yeah, I throw myself in the hat because I've been there. I've been where he's in his shoes, and with all the skills that I know, there's no question. But the point is, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder needs to take some other fights and find himself, regain his confidence, and then grow. Changing trainers and making allegations, all that crap, man. That mentally it breaks you down and affects you as fighting. Tyson Fury, Usyk, and I guess I the last person I would say, but it's really to be proven, is Ruiz. So off the top of my head, those are the top 5. If you ask me next week, was that? Yeah. Well, no, I don't. So in order right now, we would definitely have to say Tyson Fury because he's proven. Then we would say Usyk to the extent that he's proven through unifying the cruiserweight division and being a little man beating a skilled super heavyweight gold medalist and current world champion in Joshua. And then I would say between Joshua and Wilder, I can't say who would be in a third or fourth place. I'm kind of got them two at a tie, and then I would say a guy like Andy Ruiz. And listen, there are probably other fighters out there. I just don't. I haven't studied all of the fighters, and I may be forgetting some right now. But just and you asking me a question in that order off the top of my head, that's what I would definitely say, man. Most definitely.
No, I think that's a lot of people, to be fair, as well. Thank you, Lamon, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Is there anything you want to touch on before we wrap up?
Yeah, man. So what I'm asking is that all retired fighters would consider being a part of Brewster's Place, which is we're one family all around the world, man. We got over 50 world champions, some of the biggest names in the sport, and it's all about being leaders to our communities, man. It's all about teaching our affirmations to the world, man, coming together as a boxing family and helping each other as God told us to. So my website is www.brewsters.place, and that's BREWSTER with an S .place, PLACE. I just my thing is that we as a boxing community, we need to come together because we're living in crucial times. We're living in hard times, and it's not about money. It's not about ego. It's about trying to help your brother, trying to help your sister to live a better life. And at Brewster's Place, that's what we're trying to do, man. I'm trying to make sure that all retired fighters can make a living by being a mentor, just in their own towns and through Zoom, teaching people about life as they see it, because life is a fight. So what I want to do is just ask people to support by buying T-shirts, by making donations, by buying the hats, becoming honorary members of Brewster's Place, because every time they buy a hat or a T-shirt, we take that money and we apply that toward paying these champions to be mentors at schools and juveniles and jails and prisons, community centers all around the world, man. And at the end of the day, we all we got, and that's our hashtag at Brewster's Place. So I would just like to get people to support us, man, because as you know, boxing, we are the only sport that does not have a boxing pension. And there's a lot of fighters out here that could use some money because we have a lot of health problems once we retire. And so by a fighter just telling his story as it relates to his life, as it relates to boxing, through his affirmation, he'll be doing the world a service, because you don't never know what you're telling, what you're speaking may, in essence, it may motivate some young man or some young woman to be a champion in life. And that's what it's all about, being a champion in life. Not saying being a boxer, but what we want people to know is that when you see somebody out with the Brewster's Place memorabilia, they're family. So you should always feel safe. Somebody got your back wherever you go. And there always comes a time in life where we all need somebody, even if it's just to listen to us. So that's what Brewster's Place is. And I am really going to be putting it out in the time to come with all the world champions, going on social media and just asking people, join Brewster's Place, help us to make a difference, because at the end of the day, we all we got. And by you, like I say, you purchasing something or making donations, it's 100% tax write-off. We're able to help these young men and young women who don't have fathers, who don't have mothers, who are going the wrong way in life. So to know that you got 12 mentors as world champions, that should do something for your mindset trying to make it in life, because life is a fight.
No, well said. Well said. I think that's the perfect way to end it there as well. So thank you, Lamon Brewster, for being on. Really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I've definitely kept you longer than we said, so I do appreciate it. And yeah, guys, do check it out. I'll put the link to the description to Brewster's Place in the video as well, and let people know. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. And thank you very much.
Told you 5 minutes.